Hi guys, and welcome back to another video again with Powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my review of the board game Isle of Train All Aboard, coming to you from Dranda Games and Dan Keltner and Seth Jaffees or Jaffees. All right, however you pronounce your name, Seth. I do apologize if I mispronounced your last name. But Isle of Trains All Aboard, brand new game, guys. Just recently fulfilled a couple months ago, so very new. Basically, it's a train game. It's a card train game where your objective is to build out like your train using cards, but then you also use these cards to load resources onto your train or load resources onto your other opponent's trains to be able to do certain actions. You can have passengers that you can load on your train, and you take all these passengers and resources and you deliver them to different areas, different like town cards, to try and collect those town cards and get the most victory points. All right, as always, guys, normally what I do is go down to the table and show you how the game is played really quickly, but I actually have a solo playthrough, and I'll go ahead and link that up top here in the corner of Isle of Train. So if you are interested to see how that game is played, definitely recommend you guys take a look. Check that playthrough out. That'll teach you everything you need to know. So let's go ahead and jump right in, guys, to Isle of Trains All Aboard. All right, so starting off with the theme here. Look, I'm gonna get a little crazy here. This theme, I'm giving a 9 out of 10 here. Look, I think this is an outstanding theme for this game in general, and the way the thematicness of the game works is outstanding. So first of all, there's not too many train games out there that are not like 4X or like, giant games, or I don't want to say print and play, but like you're riding on the boards and stuff like that. There's not too many that just involve cards and victory points, and so I was interested to see how Isles of Train All Aboard did that, and so I think they knocked it out the park, right? You are essentially, like I said, a conductor, and so you got cards, and you're using these cards to build other train cars, add onto your train, right? So you have your train engine, and then you're trying to build other train cars on top of it, so you can have like extra cabooses for more passengers, or you can have oil tankers or things like that. And so that's what's really cool, is it gives you that feel of being a tycoon almost and building out your own train. But you got to be careful, because depending on how big your engine is, that means you're only going to be able to build a certain amount of cars, or pull essentially a certain amount of cars, because your engine capacity is not strong enough. So you can upgrade your engine as well. So that's really the first piece of it, right? And like the main premise of the game is, like I said, you're collecting these, loading up resources, you're loading up passengers to, drop them off at spots at town, and then also drop these goods off to collect these cards, these town cards, which have contracts and things like that. And I think it does a outstanding job of all of those different things, right? The same card that you use to build out your train is the same cards you use for resources to tuck in, and then you have meeples or cardboard tokens of the passengers that you load up. So you're loading up the passengers, loading up the resources, and then you deliver them to their respective city or town that they are trying to go through. And so it really meshes everything out, or really meshes everything together really well, and gives you a really good feel here that I really enjoy. And so I think the theme here, like I said, outstanding theme here, 9 out of 10, with all the mechanics just meshing together really well. All right, moving on to the components. As always, guys, what we're going to do is go ahead and go down to the table. I'm going to show off the components, talk about them, and then we'll be back up top here to get working on the setup. All right, guys, so I just got some of the components here scattered about for Isle of Trains. And so this is the deluxe edition here that you are looking at, guys. And just so some of these upgrades is basically what it is you get a number on the box here, your own specific number. All right, you get the meeple upgrade. So instead of little cardboard tokens, you're gonna have screen printed meeples for all of the different colors. You will have a future train promo card, which I don't have out there, but you'll get this little promo thing, which will give you a future train engine, and then on the back it'll give you some extra ticket tiles, right? You're gonna get a bigger bag that's gonna have nice print on it, and then we already talked about the promo ticket tiles, and then you're just gonna get it inside the box printing of the game. So that is the deluxe edition. Really, the only thing that you need to take note here is the main difference is you get extra ticket tiles, and instead of small little cardboard punch outs for these passengers in the deluxe edition, they are going to be meeples. In the retail or base version of the game, they're just going to be a little cardboard punch out like the money is, and that is really the only difference. But let's talk about these components here. I'm going to go ahead and give these components an 8 out of 10. I think these are great quality components. Typical stuff of what you would expect in a small box game like this, right? I mean, you got your screen printed meeples, but these are standard screen printed meeples. No special feel to them. They feel like your generic screen printed. They feel like what a generic screen printed meeple will look like. Other than that, most everything is cardboard punch out. So these city names and stuff are cardboard punch outs. They got a good feel, that they feel nice and durable. Here's some of the victory point markers. Again, cardboard punch out. Just standard cardboard token feel that you would expect in most board games. The cards themselves have like a cool little linen finish here, and obviously the artwork on these cards are tremendous. You know, here's some of the different cities: Research Station, Alpine Lodge, Billington's, Cactus Mines. And so what's cool is they each have their different artwork here. So these are the like city cards. You have your ticket tiles, which are a little bit thicker cardboard, but they do hold up really, really well. And so you have a couple of ticket tiles here. This is the progress track, kind of like the round tracker of the game. It's cardboard as well. And then here's just some of the train cars that you have available to you, like a box car. They also have buildings, Northern Station, Caboose number 9. And so they each have, here's a level 2 engine. They got a nice feel to them, a nice linen glossy type finish, if you can see that on the card. But that is pretty much all the components here in the game. Again, I don't think it's anything special. I don't think it's anything to write home about, but I think they're great. I think overall they're great quality components. The artwork here is beautiful and gorgeous, and so I'm giving these an 8 out of 10. All right, guys, back up top here. Let's go ahead and move on to the setup. So I'm going to go ahead and give the setup an 8 out of 10 here. I think it's got great setup. Basically, all you're doing is you're getting out the city cards, laying them in a 2x3 grid. So boom, 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 boom. And then what you're doing is giving everybody a level 1 engine card, get everybody 2 passengers, shuffle the deck of cards, you'll draw some cards, get the ticket tiles laid out, and you are good to go. I mean, setup here is going to take you somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, more so on the 5-minute side once you get a couple games in. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy, and that's really all I got. So 8 out of 10, I mean, I think it's great. Moving on to the length. Okay, so on the box, it does say 60 minutes. I'm going to give the length here an 8 out of 10. I actually think that it's more around a 45-minute game than a 60-minute game, because the game moves really quick, and how it works is you have that progress track, right, which is essentially your round marker. So anytime a player takes it fills a ticket tile up. There's 3 spots on those ticket tiles. Anytime one of those ticket tiles gets filled up, you move the progress track up. Anytime somebody completes a contract in a town, that gets the progress track moves up. So once the progress track gets moved up to a certain spot, that's going to trigger the end of the game, or when the deck runs out. And so that happens all fairly quickly, right? Because the ticket tiles are going to help get you bonuses. So not really, some might give you victory point bonuses, but they might allow you to draw extra cards or take extra actions. So sometimes a lot of people are going to go for those quick ticket tiles to get the big victory points, because some of them give you like 4 or 5 victory points just for delivering a passenger there, right? Your big chunk of victory points is going to come from fulfilling those contracts on the island cards. And so everybody's going to try and go for those. So after, 4 turns, if everybody gets 1 island card, you've moved up to the 4th round already, and things move along very quickly. And then as well, the deck runs out pretty quickly because you use the cards for all of the same things. So again, it says 60 minutes on the box. I feel like the game is shorter than that, and it's right around that 45-minute mark. At a solo game, I think it took me right around 30 minutes, somewhere in there. And then with 2 players, it's right around that 45-minute mark. But that is the length, 8 out of 10. All right, moving on to the difficulty, guys. I'm going to give the difficulty here a 5 out of 10. Now remember, as always with difficulty, the lower the difficulty, the easier we feel the game is. The higher the difficulty, the harder we feel the game is. Look, I think this game is a little difficult. I won't say a little bit. Let me rephrase that. I do think the game is difficult to pick up, right? Because of the fact that you are using these cards for everything. So this one card right here, this caboose card that I got, is used to pay as a resource to, like, if I wanted to play this caboose card, I would have to, there's a number down here that'll tell you how many to discard. I have to discard cards from my hands to use that as a resource to lay this caboose down into my train, right? I can also use these cards as a resource and turn them in. They have a resource number. So there's a lot of iconography on these cards here, and it can get very confusing and very like, whoa, man, that's a lot of iconography, a lot of things going on. And so it takes you a while to kind of pick that up. And then the fact that, you know, they have abilities at the top of each card, but you can't use those abilities if you load stuff into your own train area. You have to load resources or passengers into your opponent's train to use those abilities. So it is complex in a manner that there's a lot of iconography on the cards, and it can be very confusing at first and very just overwhelming. But once you kind of get over that and get the hang of it, I think it moves along and progresses very, very well. But there is going to be, I think, a pretty good learning curve here with the game, just getting used to the different types of iconography on the card, you know, victory points of the card, the resources of the card, because some cards are oil cards, some cards are box, like goods resource, some are coal resource, and so just trying to differentiate all of those things. So 5 out of 10 here for difficulty. Replayability. I'm going to go ahead and give you replayability here a 7 out of 10. I think it's just good replayability here. Essentially, you're pretty much going to run through almost the entire deck in just one playthrough, and you're going to see about every type of card, right? And so the second time you play through, yes, you're more familiar with the game. Yes, there's a different strategy that you can use, but nothing really ever feels fresh about it. But that's not a bad thing. It's just got good, decent replayability, right? Because sometimes, depending on the cards you get, you're gonna have to go for different resources than you did the last time. So you're not gonna. There's different strategies you can take. You know, delivering passenger heavy delivery, or resource delivery heavy, or maybe just building out my train heavy. So I like the aspect of that. But like I said, you're gonna run through that deck pretty much the first playthrough, the entire deck in your first playthrough, so nothing is ever going to feel new or fresh, if that makes sense. But still good replayability here, 7 out of 10. Moving on to the price. All right. So there's a couple different prices here. So the retail version of this game, what I found online, is going for $18, okay? The deluxe edition, the edition that I have going online, is I've seen like $30 US. I think at that retail price of $18, it's a 9 out of 10. Look, I think that price point, $18 for a game like this, is typically what you would expect, right? Like I always talk about, these small box games right here are usually in that like $15 to $25 range. And so this is where I would really feel this game is being right in that $20 range. And so I don't think you need the deluxe edition of this game. You know, the meeples don't, I mean, they just make it like a better presence, right? It's not necessary. And so going with that retail pledge here of $18, I mean, that price point is phenomenal for everything that you're really getting in this game, and how the value of how often you're going to play this game. I think that $18 is a steal. Now, the deluxe version at $30, and that's okay. I really don't see the deluxe version being a need. And really, if you think about it, there's no really big benefit to that deluxe version other than like a promo engine card, some more ticket tiles, and some screen printed meeples, right? I don't think the meeples are necessary, but it's just a cool added flex, I guess, to the game. But that's my point on the price. Look, pick up that retail version, $18, 9 out of 10. All right, moving on to my overall rating here. Look, you guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. Look, I'm really enjoying this game. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I think this game is outstanding, right? Here's a lot of reasons why I feel this. First of all, this is the only train themed game that we own. And like I said earlier, for me, I've noticed or seen, at least I have, a lot of those train games or those big productions, 4X, you know, big maps, things like that, and I've kind of shied away. Like, they're almost too, I don't want to say Euro-y, but it's almost too trainy, if that makes sense. And I don't know what I'm really trying to say here, but what I'm trying to say is I feel like Isle of Trains, All Aboard packs everything I want into a train game into a small package, right? And it does it very well. Everything is done with the cards. So, you know, everything is done with the cards and the meeple passengers or the cardboard passengers, right? And I just love that so much. So if I'm trying to add to my train, cards. If I'm trying to use resources, cards. To put my train out, to buy trains or build projects, like build the buildings and stuff, everything is used with cards. So it really makes you focus on your hand management and things like that. And then it has that pick up and deliver aspect of, you know, putting the passengers on the train. Using the best mechanic here, I feel, is that in order to get these bonuses at the top of your cards, like drawn cards or being able to take extra actions, you have to actually load up your opponent's trains. And so it's a fine, cool balance of like, how much do I help my opponent out so I can get these bonuses, but also make sure they're not getting an advantage on top of me. And so it's a very unique way of really how they did everything. And so I enjoy this game so much as solo, as a 2-player. We have not played it more than 2 players yet, but we are really, really enjoying Isle of Trains All Aboard. And so it is a 9 out of 10 for me. All right, guys, time for the next segment here. If I were to have the opportunity to back this again on Kickstarter, go back knowing everything that I knew now, would I back this game again? Absolutely, yes, I would. However, I would change my pledge. So I backed the Conductor pledge, which gave me the deluxe edition of the game and the playmat. Look, I think I would drop the playmat. The main reason why, look, the playmat is awesome. It's got beautiful artwork. Again, I show it off in that solo playthrough. Go ahead and link it again up here. I show it off in that solo playthrough. It's nice. It helps set up easy. But the problem is, obviously, you can't store the playmat in this small little box. And so I have to find somewhere else to store the playmat. And that just kind of gets bothersome, you know, going somewhere else to pick it up when I want to play it. So I think I would drop that playmat and go to the, I think it was called the Operator Pledge, which was $29, and just pick up the deluxe edition of this game. But I would definitely back this game again. I'm enjoying it a whole lot. Look forward to playing it some more. I really want to play this at a higher player count to see how it works there. But this is Isle of Trains All Aboard, coming to you from Dranda Games, designed by Denis Keltner and Seth Jaffee. All right, guys, those are my thoughts and opinions. If you agree with me, if you like this review, go ahead and like this video. Please help us out. And as always, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you more awesome content. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.